So ancient woodlands, like this one, are areas which have been continuously wooded since at least 1600. So we know from old maps, for instance, that they've been wooded for all that time. And what's really essential about these sites is that length of what we call ecological continuity through time means woodland-dependent species have always managed to survive and thrive here. And so ancient woodlands in the UK, they're not parts of the wildwood, they're often heavily managed, but they contain those woodland-dependent species which can't just easily colonise a new woodland creation site, for instance. They've got a mix of woodland-dependent species here which you don't find anywhere else. So we have around 60,000 hectares of ancient woodlands or plantations on ancient woodland sites within our care. That's almost a third of the forested area that Forestry England manage. So plantations on ancient woodland sites, just like this one, are plantations of non-native conifers on ancient woodland. So this site has always been woodland in living and non-living memory. So if we go back through maps, for instance, we know this has been woodland since 1600. And generally in the post-war period, we had different goals of the time. Timber was a key resource at the time, so we came in, we planted with fast-growing timber trees like these non-native pines. So we planted them with non-natives, that degraded them from an ecological point of view, from a biodiversity point of view. It made them less able to sustain their unique wildlife. So now we're coming in to restore these sites as we know the benefits of restoration for the nature. Back in the early noughties, we committed to restoring all our plantations on ancient woodland sites back to native tree species. And this is a site which has been restored. You can see the silver birch here, likely naturally regenerated 20 to 30 years ago, and has been really successful in re-establishing that native canopy cover. Other sites can be much more difficult. So sometimes you don't get this level of natural regeneration. Sometimes the deer come in and hammer all that natural regeneration, so it never grows to be a full woodland like this. So in other sites, you really have to get involved to accelerate that natural native tree regeneration. We've been into all our plantations on ancient woodland sites, removing non-native species, so achieving our 2030 target to get them all in restoration. But some haven't restored like this one, and we need to get actively involved. We need to, for instance, perhaps clear the understory, manage deer, plant trees to help establish that native woodland canopy cover. We've done the easy sites and now we're moving on to the more difficult ones. By difficult, we mean that the understory can be really thick and suppress natural tree regeneration. We might not even have the seed bank of native tree species in the soil, and deer can come in and nibble off any trees that are growing. The sites are harder, but we can overcome all of those issues. In fact, our target is to double our current rate of restoration. It's also really important for both nature and for timber that we continue to manage these sites. So taking out these non-native species, getting the native species canopy back in place is not the end of the story. Management of these sites to make sure they're structurally diverse, to take timber out, to develop that structure, get that light levels to the floor is all essential for the proper healthy functioning of this woodlands. We don't live in a time where you've got things like elephants pushing over trees, creating canopy gaps. We have to be involved in woodlands to maximise their biodiversity potential. PAWS restoration is just a part of what we do for biodiversity. We also restore open habitats like peatlands. We also restore triple SIs. We reintroduce species and we create wild areas. That's all of the things that we do for nature, but we do so much more. We're also the country's largest provider of outdoor recreation. So it's a crucial resource for people, our woodlands, as well as sustainable timber. We're one of the largest providers of sustainable timber in the country, and that is essential for the low carbon economy of the future to replace oil-based products. And what's awesome about our sustainable timber is that we think about nature all the time. Nature fundamental to the resilience of sustainable, resilient forestry. So when we're talking about places like Kielder, which just focus on productive forestry, within that is a matrix of nature sites, a matrix of national nature reserves and watercourse buffer zones, all of which contribute to that wider sustainable production of timber. Fundamentally, you can't grow a tree, any tree, be it a native or a non-native, without the fungi in the soil beneath it. All of these are intertwined. Nature and productive forestry go hand in hand. So it takes a whole team of specialists to restore PAWS well. That includes ecologists, there'll be protected species living in these woodlands, So we've got to make sure that those are protected throughout all our forestry operations when we're taking timber out. We've got specialist foresters making sure that we treat these sites really sensitively, making sure, for instance, we're not compacting the soil and damaging the really special ecological communities found there. We've got planners making sure that this all works at a strategic level, and we've got researchers looking at things like the environmental DNA of the soil, making sure that we're doing the right thing, that we're prioritising the right sites, that we're driving forward restoration in the right way. Every one of our forests has a plan. They're all available online, so you can see our restoration efforts both backwards through time as well as how we intend to restore them into the future.